I'm Florence. I'm huddled in a trench, the cold, damp earth seeping through my clothes. The air is thick with the smell of damp soil and motor oil, a stark contrast to the sterile chemical haze billowing from the kitchen window above. The sirens are getting closer, their wail cutting through the suburban quiet. But I'm not safe yet. Just a few minutes ago, I was standing in the kitchen, staring at a ticking silver box. The numbers on the digital display were counting down, and I knew that in a matter of minutes, the house would explode. I was trapped, with no way out. It all started 3 days ago, when I had a minor surgery. My wife, Lily, was a rock, coordinating with her mother, Martha, who lived just a few minutes away, to keep an eye on things. Lily's younger sister, Ava, was also helping out, bringing groceries and offering moral support. I trusted them completely. When I returned home, I immediately noticed something was wrong. The house was eerily quiet, and there was a strange smell in the air. As I walked through the living room, I realized that everything was gone. The furniture, the electronics, even the family photos were missing. It was as if someone had systematically erased my life. I found a note from Martha, claiming that Lily and she had talked it over and that I needed to give Lily some space. She said they had taken what was theirs and donated the rest to Goodwill. I was in shock. I couldn't believe what was happening. I tried to call Lily, but my phone had no signal. I looked up at the ceiling and realized that the main cable box and router were gone. They had cut the internet line. I was completely isolated. As I searched the house, I found more evidence of their betrayal. In the master bedroom, I found my wedding ring lying in the bathtub, along with the contents of my wallet, all neatly snapped in half. It was a cruel reminder of what I had lost. Just then, I heard a heavy thump from the front door. It wasn't a knock, it was a solid physical impact followed by the sound of a deadbolt sliding shut from the outside. I was locked in. I heard footsteps coming down the hall, slow and deliberate. A man entered the bathroom. He was large, built like a refrigerator, and wearing dark work clothes. He had a menacing presence, and I knew I was in trouble. He told me that Lily was resting and that she needed a fresh start away from me. He said that I had signed papers last month, giving her the house and all the assets. I was in disbelief. I told him that those were medical forms, and he had tricked us. He laughed and said that Martha called it proactive asset management. He explained that since the house was in both our names, but I was the primary earner and the source of Lily's anxiety, Martha had finalized the transfer of all movable assets and signed the deed over to Lily, contingent on our immediate separation. I was furious. I told him that he couldn't just steal my house. He smirked and said that Lily had signed it over. He also explained that they had taken my cell phone charger and emergency credit cards from the safe in the closet to prevent me from calling the authorities. He then pulled out a frequency jammer and pressed a button. A high-pitched, whining electronic shriek filled the bathroom. It was agonizing, and I clapped my hands over my ears. He said it disables any signal attempting to leave the property and that it was tuned to a frequency that would make my ears bleed if I was near it. He told me that I had until sundown to vacate the premises. If I was still there, they would assume I had accepted the severance package. I was desperate to get out. I found a heavy bedside lamp and tried to break the window to escape. But just as I was about to swing, I heard a low, rhythmic thump coming from beneath the house. It sounded like someone was battering the foundation with a sledgehammer. The house began to shake violently, and the ceiling plaster started to crack. I realized that they weren't just locking me in, they were actively demolishing the house. I ran to the kitchen, hoping to find a way out. The sliding glass door to the yard was gone, and in its place was a massive trench. At the bottom of the trench was the missing antique dining table, used as a counterweight. Then I heard a faint beeping sound. It was coming from a small silver metal box on the counter. The numbers were counting down, and I knew it was a bomb. I also found a canvas bag with a bolt cutter. But next to it was Lily's favorite silk scarf, and a note that said if I cut the chain, the charge below would detonate instantly. I was trapped. I remembered an emergency button I had installed near the pantry, connected to an untraceable encrypted satellite phone. I managed to activate it and received a message with a photo of Lily in a car, bound with zip ties. She was using her bound fingers to form a downward-pointing arrow, warning me about the danger below. With the house shaking and the timer counting down, I decided to use the bolt cutter on the silver box. Just as I brought the cutters down, I received a new message on the satellite phone. It was an audio file of Lily struggling and Ava screaming. The bolt cutters crushed the timer, and the house went still. But then, a plume of white smoke started to curl out from the crushed casing, and a new digital display showed a counter ticking up from 1. I realized that I had triggered the secondary phase. The sirens were getting closer, but I knew I couldn't stay in the house. I jumped into the trench, hoping to find a pocket of clean air. And that's where I am now, waiting for the police to rescue me. As I wait, I think about how I could have been so naive. I trusted my in-laws, and they betrayed me. But I'm grateful that Lily is alive, and I know that together, we'll get through this. We may have lost our house and all our possessions, but we still have each other. Finally, the police reach me. They help me out of the trench, and I see Lily being carried on a stretcher. She's pale but alive. We embrace, and I know that our fight for recovery will be long, but we'll face it together. The police tell me that they've arrested Ava. She said that Martha had gone crazy and forced her to help. They also found Lily in the trunk of Martha's car. As I stand on the scorched lawn, looking at the ruins of our home, I realize that although we've lost so much, our love has survived. We'll rebuild our lives, stronger than before, and leave behind the nightmare that Martha and Ava had created.